Hi, I'm Deborah Spiegel, CEO and Director of the Spiegel Academy for Music Therapy Continuing Education. We help music therapists and allied health professionals to improve their skill sets to effectively support client goals by providing online classes that are full of new ideas and strategies. We're here today with Julie Guy and Angela Neve, whose specialty is in providing creative ways to work with clients with special needs. Julie and Angela are frequent presenters for parents, teachers, and therapists in San Diego and around the nation. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
So I understand you're going to start us out with a song?
We are.
All right.
But before we do that, we just wanted to give you a brief overview of what we'll be talking about. So after we teach you our feelings song, we're going to go into 4 strategies, and they're broken down into 2 categories, cueing and generalization. Then we'll give you talk about some free resources and give you some next steps.
All right, we're going to take it away. Feelings changing every day. Feelings, some go, some stay. Feelings, all in different ways. Feelings, I feel happy, the smile is on my face. I clap my hands and dance around the place. I feel happy. Make a happy face. I feel sad, my face it has a frown. I cry and walk with my head hanging down. I feel sad. Make a sad face. I feel frustrated. I let out a sigh. This is hard, and I want to cry. I feel frustrated. Make a frustrated face. I feel mad. My face is scrunched up tight. I stomp around and want to start a fight. I feel mad. Make a mad face. I feel silly. I have a goofy grin. I wear a funny hat and I start to spin. I feel silly. Make a silly face. Feelings changing every day. Feelings, some go, some stay. Feelings, all in different ways. Feelings. Yay. All right, so we're going to talk about a couple different strategies for that were incorporated into that song as part of the feeling song. We're going to talk about 2 different cueing strategies. First, one thing you may have noticed that when we were talking about happy, of course, we were playing major chords to again re-emphasize the emotion that we're trying to elicit, which is happy. So one strategy for cueing, especially when you're talking about feelings, and chords really lend themselves so well when we're talking about feelings, is to provide a chord that supports the emotion that you're trying to elicit with the child. So similarly, if you're trying to elicit maybe more anxiety or portray the feeling of anxiety, you might use a diminished chord. You noticed in that song when we came to the concept of sad, we use sad or minor chords, again, helping them to understand the feeling that we're trying to convey by cueing it with the chord. And as part of our workshop, we're going to be talking about the brain, how the brain is processing emotions, and how that relates to speech and language, and can be a really great tool for helping children and teens and young adults begin to have the language to express their emotions. One example I give is I have a child who has autism, so has a lot of speech and language difficulties. And just by hearing a minor chord, will start to cry. So now he doesn't have the language yet to be able to understand to say, I feel sad, which is what this song Feelings is trying to do, is to say, okay, your body may be feeling sad or you may start to cry. Now let's layer the language on top of that to be able to have a communication tool. So. All right, so second strategy is melodic cueing. So in this song, we used a similar melody for every feeling. We said, I feel happy, and we used that same cue for happy. One technique that I would encourage you to explore is to change your melodic cueing for a different emotion. So you could say, I feel sad. You could change it to I feel sad instead of I feel sad, which sounds exactly like I feel happy. You could change it to say I feel sad. Now, why is that important? It's the principle of what we know, mnemonics, that we're gluing the information to our brain using that melody. Now, for many individuals, especially with autism, when you glue that information, which in this case is the feelings, with the melody, some individuals have no problem changing the content when the melody stays the same. Now, some individuals have a really difficult time if you change the content and you don't change the melody. For instance, some individuals, if you try to write a piggyback song for Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, they hate it because they don't like the fact that you've changed the words to a melody that they've already encoded with language. So the concept of melodic cueing is another strategy that we're going to be talking about in our workshop and exploring how you can utilize that to its fullest extent.
You know, when you were talking about, you know, music sticking in so many of our kiddos who like the same words paired with their song, it's because we use this analogy all the time. Music is like glue. I want you to say that with me. Music is like
glue.
Glue.
Yes.
So that's a really great example of how music, it helps things stick. So we want to help them stick the right things.
Absolutely. All
Okay,
right.
so the next strategy we're going to talk about today is helping, you know, once you've learned the songs with your students, and we actually in our CMTE will talk about the strategies and the process of learning a song through music, and then how to help kids learn it and generalize it, not just kids, but anyone, how to learn that skill and apply it into their real environment in their everyday life. So a couple of ways we're going to show you that today is by using visuals such as masks. And we had fun this morning at our staff meeting making a few masks for you. And for example, this one is one of my favorite. I feel silly. So these are great ways, and you'll actually be getting a downloadable link for this, for the file, so you can make these at home yourself. And I've used these with clients in my sessions as a follow-up activity and task after learning the song, sent them home as homework for them to make with their parents. And we've used them in some different ways for that. So here's another one of the mask of the same thing, but this time we laminated it and we put Velcro on so that the kids could put on the faces. And so then they could interchange different faces, try out the different parts, and see how they can make each one work. And then that lends itself well to talk about the different facial features that the child is making. For example, look how her eyes are goofy and then her eyebrows are up high, or maybe her mouth is smiling. But then let's look at this one instead, and maybe, this boy, he's angry, and look how his eyebrows are furrowed and his eyes are squinted and he's gritting his teeth together. So it gives you some language to talk about the different facial features that they're making. And then to practice that, Angela's got Amir right over here. So we would use this in a session, and we might show the face, talk about the features, and then we might take out the mirror and see if we can all make the faces together. So you get the idea. And especially with the first one I showed you, we made with holes in it so that the kid could look through at the mirror and see themselves and experiment to see what they look like. Just another fun way to interact with that.
We find a lot of our kids, it's wonderful if they're able to sing these songs, but again, that generalization piece, if they walk out the door and they can't identify feelings on their friends, oh, I noticed Johnny is feeling sad, or in themselves, oh, I'm feeling frustrated, and to have the language to be able to do that, really, what's the purpose of singing the song if they're not able to generalize it at all? So what we're really trying to teach is how to not only learn the information through the music, but then also how to take it to the next step and use it in their everyday life. So these are just a few ideas and strategies that can be effective.
One more little story I wanted to share with using these with a client of mine. I was doing this in a group with 2 young children. They were 5 years old, both had autism. And we were making these faces and putting them together. And I had one little boy who had a complete meltdown because he'd seen us use these before in a video. And we've done some video modeling, which actually is our next tip we'll just talk about in a minute. So I'm jumping ahead just a little. But he couldn't handle the fact that we were trying to interchange the faces on the mask because he was so rigid and set in his way that he thought that only this face shape could be making this feeling. So it was a really big eye-opener for me as a therapist, but to see that his understanding was so limited to that one picture, that one example. So we really could then take that as a launching pad to the next piece for him and work on, okay, well, people have different feelings, so their feelings change, and how do we do that? So it was a great, like I said, a launching point to help him get to the next level with that skill. So perfectly, I kind of foreshadowed into the next strategy, strategy 4. So another way to generalize skills is through video modeling or role playing. So we have a couple different ways we might go about doing this, and we're really excited that today we get to share with you a video from a series that we put together called Kibbles Rockin' Clubhouse. And so the song Angela wrote for this video, the Feelings song, and we have some actors that we have that were acting out feelings, and so some young kids showing the feelings. So what we're going to demonstrate here is using a video, and we're going to pause it and see if then the child or the client can identify what the feeling is.
Absolutely.
So let's see if we can pull that up okay. I think I have to go share.
And I think one of the reasons I really love using video modeling, one is so many of the clients that we work with are just motivated by videos. So anytime you can bring in some technology, a video, they are just excited about it. And it brings the learning to life in a new way. Plus, it's another great tip that you can send home to help generalize outside of the music therapy setting as well, which I think is really key.
Great job.
So give me 1 second. Let me pull up the menu we need. We can hope it works.
Strange. Okay. Maybe it has something to do with the Zoom.
I bet it might have something to do with Zoom.
Okay.
Well, we'll talk about it. Sorry, folks. Don't you love technology? So let me go back and share our PowerPoint, and we'll go back. Okay. All right. So what we were going to show you was singing through the song with the kids and showing them acting out the different feelings and pausing the video to then have the client guess the feelings.
And I will say that we are going to give you a link to the website that has this video on it, and there are clips on there where you can actually go in and see examples of the feeling song with the video. So it won't be the entire song, but you'll get to see clips of it. And the importance, I think, of individuals seeing other people modeling it again on a video is a lot of times a first step to helping them begin to generalize it to themselves. So.
And especially with identifying feelings, we find that the kids learn to identify the feeling on someone else first before they can even identify it in themselves and act it out. So using role models of other kids or therapists in your office or, you know, your family at home would be a great way to show it. So we're actually going to show something live for you. We're going to act out a scenario for you, a feelings scenario.
And this is, again, is something that you can record ahead of time and show it to your clients as another way to generalize. But we're going to do it as a live role play today. So I'll just be the narrator and the mom. So.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
So it was nighttime, and Julie was putting on her pajamas to get ready to sleep. She climbed into her bed and pulled up the blankets. Her mother, which is me, came into the room to say goodnight. And Julie said,
I'm afraid of the dark. Can I have a flashlight?
Sure, her mother replied as she kissed her and tucked her into bed. It's all right to feel afraid, but I will leave the night light on for you so you can see better in the dark.
Thank you, Mom.
She closed her eyes and fell asleep. And usually, I know we're limited by our space here today because we have to stay within the confines of this video. We would use props and use the whole entirety of the room. But again, just giving you the idea and let your creativity roll to be able to, again, take these concepts outside of the song and help them begin to generalize and have language to use in their everyday life. So.
And then being able to like send this video home so they could watch it at home and role play it at home with their family is another way that we could take them through that. Okay, so we covered your 4 tips today. And as we mentioned throughout, that we have some different resources for you that you'll get to access, the downloadable feelings masks. You'll also be able to access the song file for feelings as well as the chord charts. And if you sign up for our CMTE, you also will get a free podcast on video modeling, where we have a team of professionals who talk about behind the scenes information, how to go about doing your own video modeling. So let me talk just a little bit briefly about next steps. So we are going to be doing a 6-hour CMTE on neurologic strategies for speech and language for individuals with autism and other special needs. And the first part of the CMTE we call building the toolbox. So we really focus on pertinent neurologic music therapy research and neuroscience research and how that's related to speech and language. And then while we are presenting lecture style, Angela and I really work hard to make it really engaging and fun. And we're very passionate about helping everything relate back to your therapy practice and your real life. Nothing's worse than hearing all this neuroscience and like not understanding, okay, what does this mean for my client and how do I explain this to the parents and how do I use this in a session? So we'll be doing some fun, using some videos, showing some different experiences. And so we can't wait to talk about neuroscience.
And I think that's really important because we've worked with so many individuals over the last 15 years. We really try to pull from a lot of our experiences, giving live examples. If appropriate, we'll try to show some case study examples as well to just really help bring the information to life for you. So the remainder of our CMTE will be devoted to going through a step-by-step learning hierarchy. It's our In Harmony learning hierarchy, again, for teaching a skill through music and then how to fade that music so you're left with the generalization tool. And then secondly, of course, as Julie mentioned, specific neurologic music strategies specifically targeted for developing speech and language skills.
So if you come to our CMTE, you'll definitely experience live demonstration. As we said, watch video examples. We will have some discussion questions, as well as you'll get to participate in some fun homework assignments that you can submit to us that we will be giving feedback on, which will be really fun. And then we'll be talking about ways to assess client speech and language skills, so different assessment tools that we use in our practice, how to document progress, ways to incorporate technology into what you're doing, and of course, talking about how to adapt everything for no matter what level of functioning your client is at.
Wow. I'm excited. I'm really excited about this class. The value of everything here is $497. Register today for just $167. You'll get an additional bonus, the one that was already mentioned. You're going to get the link to the free podcast by Angela and Julie. So click the link to the right, and we'll see you in the CMTE online class. This is Deborah Spiegel saying, make a difference.